Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Connected by Community. I'm Brian Ballantyne with Ballantyne Capital Advisors. I'm joined here with Cameron Cannon from our office, and we're a podcast here to bring you interest about our community, nonprofits, organizations, businesses. And today we're excited to have Mr. Bruce Kastner here with us, who is here with the Bridge Fishing Outreach Program. Welcome to the program.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you. So before we jump into what you do in your outreach program, maybe tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Are you from this area? Are you newly here? Married, kids, those kind of wonderful things?
I'm actually a local. I was born.
Yes, another one. I love
born
it.
and raised Simpsonville. Lived in Simpsonville. Went to Hillcrest High School. Lived all around the county. But yeah, I'm married. I've got a son who's 6, and we've got one on the way.
Oh, congratulations.
Absolutely.
Boy, girl coming, do you know?
Not sure yet.
Yeah?
Not sure yet.
Well, now you're going to be playing man-to-man defense, right?
Exactly right. Exactly.
Well, awesome. So I guess the town's changed a little bit since you were a young fella, if you've lived here. So a lot of folks that are not from here moved here. And I guess gives you an opportunity with your program to reach out.
Yeah.
So maybe tell the audience a little bit about what you're doing and what you're trying to do and share with people.
It's a nonprofit. It's a 501c3 nonprofit that we developed basically out of a passion for fishing and a passion for serving other people. I grew up fishing. It was kind of an escape for me. I had some challenges in my home when I was younger, and I found that I could go and get a piece of white bread out of the refrigerator, take the top of one of my fishing poles and go to our creek behind the house and catch, little minnows. I wasn't catching big fish, but I would be gone for 3 or 4 hours. So it was kind of like an escape. And then as I got older, my stepdad actually kind of got me fishing, and it's kind of the same thing. We would have an opportunity and we'd go fishing, and I kind of developed a passion for fishing for bass, using artificial lures. And that passion just grew. And the awesome thing is that as I would fish, it kind of came more of an escape or a time away, a pause. A lot of times I go by myself, and I'd like to say that, I go and have these profound thoughts or, meetings with God, but really it's I go and turn everything off. My to-do list, what's next. And in that, I realized there's an opportunity to share that for other people. And I found out about a program that the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources does. They do free fishing clinics. They're for the public. You sign up. So I went through some training to get certified as a fishing instructor. And in that, I saw their program and saw how we could use that. So what we do is we typically take that format. It's like a 4-hour fishing clinic where we'll host it at a state park, a body of water, and then we'll have a specific group come, and we'll have a time of instruction. We'll show them how to rig up their rods, tie a knot. We'll practice, and then we'll actually go and do some fishing. So we've been able to cater that to groups of children, adults. Well, we try to focus on children that may not have a mom or dad, an uncle that'll take them fishing. Kids that face challenges that we couldn't even imagine on a daily basis, and then also adults, maybe going through addiction recovery. One thing about fishing is I've found is if you take somebody fishing, whether you're on a boat or you're on the land, you're with that person for an extended period of time. And our life is so fast paced these days. We've got so much task and so much to do. We communicate in text and, social media. The communication's kind of going away, but you take somebody on a boat, they don't have any choice. They're going to talk or listen or be quiet, or they're going to have to jump and swim, So it provided an opportunity to listen, as well, to share our story. But My passion is with the kids just because, I went through some things and it was escape for me. So kind of when I start off, it's what's fishing to you? When I say fishing, what do you think? What does that say? And you get amazing answers from kids. And then I'll share what it was for me was an escape, especially for some of those kids, again, that fight up from the time they get out of bed. They're battling, they're battling something just an opportunity to spend time with them. So that was kind of how it started.
That sounds awesome. So how do you find these kids? Is it groups? Is it individual kids, small groups, big groups? Maybe share a little bit about that.
We've done some work with Miracle Hill, the boys and girls through their programs. There's another group, Generations group. So typically we look for children's homes or shelters. We do it in smaller groups. With the Miracle Hill, we did 3 different clinics for them.
All right.
But we'll do it for individuals. So we try to just get the word out there. We'll have people reach out. We've used Facebook and we've got a website now, but generally it's just through word of mouth or meeting people and ask them if they want to go fishing. We've had a friend of my wife. She works at Miracle Hill, and one of the donors at Miracle Hill that she has a relationship with had a son that was going through some addiction issues and mentioned that he loved to fish and liked to fish. So I asked him to go fishing, and we just go and get away. And God gives us an opportunity to foster a relationship. We don't go out there and beat people with the Bible or anything like that. We let God kind of draw it. It's just providing that opportunity to spend time. And so that's generally the groups that we focus on. Is boys and girls. Miracle Hill has been a big supporter, but anybody that wants to go fishing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I know some of the fondest memories I have growing up was me and my dad would go fishing from a young age. We'd, go to my grandma's house and go try to catch some bass. And, we'd even go to Charleston every now and again, and we'd always go on the pier and try to catch fish. So those are some of the fondest memories I have, growing up fishing with my dad. So I was very fortunate to have that. But I think it's an awesome program that you guys have for, people that maybe are in that situation, like you said, that are struggling to kind of get away and kind of, put all those thoughts to rest and build a relationship and maybe talk about God in the meantime. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kids that are in bad situations, right? And they don't have a positive figure that can do those things. So that's great you're doing that in our community, and certainly can build relationships and foster something that may lead to something bigger or be for them at a difficult time. I'm curious, any impacts you've seen? Have you seen where, hey, maybe someone's gotten on a fishing team, those become more popular, or they've taken it and developed their passion to help other people?
Absolutely. And one of the things that we talk about when we talk about what's fishing to you is it could be a future. But we had an interest from some groups, some kids that were involved in fishing, because there's some competitive tournaments. And with that, you've got to be connected with the school. So we kind of created a club at Rudolph Gordon Middle School or school, and offered a fishing club for the middle school age kids at Rudolph Gordon. One, to give them, the kids that wanted to fish, the opportunity to fish competitively. Because again, there's a future. You can go to college, scholarships, there's high school, middle school, college fishing, but also we all opened it up for any kid that would be interested in joining. And we were blown away that we had, 28 to 30 kids come.
Wow.
That's great.
Many that had never fished, and we ended up having 6 or 8 that fished competitively, but the other 20 would just come to our club meetings. And
are these clubs, is this during school time or after school time?
We meet after school, the first Monday of every month. And the first meeting we did for like an hour and a half, we realized that wasn't enough time. So we ended up stretching it out. So we go for about 2 hours the first Monday, and we have some fun games and opportunities. We have some skills, some lessons, but there's still an opportunity to take Jesus and the Word of God in there. We always start with prayer, and there's always an opportunity to share and encourage through that. And, we have opportunity to talk about different topics. Anything God kind of puts on my heart, I try to foster the environment of team, because you've got some kids in there that have fished their whole life that want to fish competitively, and you got some that's never fished. And we set the bar as, look, we're not going to have a division in here. we want everybody to learn, and nobody's going to get treated any differently. And you see some of the kids that are shy not be so shy about not knowing, and you see some of the kids that know how to do it, show the kids, help them learn. Mm-hmm. So again, it's an opportunity to kind of go against the way the world's going, and just foster teammates and opportunity, encouragement. We talking about bullying, all kinds of stuff. So it's wild again through something that people, you think of fishing as, live bait sitting there doing nothing. That's boring. That God can take something like that and use it. It's just blown me away. It's blown me away.
And I'm reminded with that, I don't remember the name of the artist. I think it's Trace Atkins. There's a country song called She Thinks We're Just Fishing. I don't know if you've heard that, right? Yeah. And it kind of talks about that, right? As the guy, as he goes along and is like, hey, I'm taking my daughter out fishing. She thinks we're just fishing, but really they're building memories and, being able to talk, and you got them captive, especially as you got teenagers or middle school kids that maybe not just shy, they don't want to talk to parents. Maybe parents should do that more often. Which brings up a question I was thinking. Do you ever do work or have groups like youth groups at church? Maybe that's a bonding experience for them. And maybe, again, you have some of the shy kids or some members of that youth group that maybe don't have the best homes, and maybe some do. But I'm just curious if you ever worked with various youth groups in that.
It's awesome that you mentioned that, because that's kind of where it's what's on the burner simmering right now. We actually had plans on having a camp at Clemson University in July, similar to a baseball or football camp, an overnight camp where kids would come and stay and learn about fishing for 3 days and then go home. And it was going to be geared towards, again, the competitive side, but we were going to invite whoever wanted to come. Well, in preparation for that, we're working on doing some day camps, and we're looking at working with some of the Christian retreats in the area, like Look Up Lodge, Awanata Valley, where these youth groups go and they have youth camp, because those two places in particular have ponds on there. So we're definitely, that's what I'm working on now, actually, is starting to do and plan some of that stuff for those kids in church youth groups, because again, it's another opportunity and a huge group, and it's a different activity. Again, it's getting them out. It's going away from the way we're focused on being inside and technology. Now it's an opportunity to get them out and learn. And we've actually also partnered with Trail Life USA, which Trail Life USA is a national organization their home base is in Greenwood, and they're basically a Christ-centered version of the Boy Scouts. They focus on camping, father and son engagement. They meet weekly. It's always at a home-based church, but they have different criteria. They've got to get badges, and what I've learned and reaching out to them is they don't really have. They have a fishing curriculum where they can get several different badges in the fishing, but they don't have anybody, they don't really teach it. They go camping a lot and hiking a lot. So I've actually done some clinics for them, went to one of their big functions and talked to some of the leaders, because again, there's another opportunity to get with these kids. And in that, and what I told them was what's awesome about you guys is you guys have the father figures, the male role models that are the leaders in your group. The kids that the Bridge works with don't have that. So how awesome would it be to partner? Because we're basically a one-stop shop, so to speak, as we go and do a clinic for a boys' home, and it's 4 hours. And then we go. And we may not have contact or an opportunity with those kids again. Whereas if we can bring those kids involved with Trail Life, maybe they have an opportunity to come to the weekly meetings. Maybe they get involved with these groups that have male role models. And then it's not just we come and God gives us one opportunity. It's they're involved and they're plugged in. So I'm really excited about that partnership with Trail Life.
Are you guys looking for volunteers to help out? And if so, how could someone help out with Bridge?
Absolutely. we have people that don't know anything about fishing that just want to serve. We have events. We need leaders. When I go, and I'm teaching, it helps. It's helpful to have a leader that can be with every 2 or 3 kids. Because if not, so for example, if I'm trying to show 15 kids how to tie a knot, and then have to pause and then go around and work with each kid, that can create a time crunch, and then you lose focus. So if you got adults there that can kind of help, so just anybody that has time and wants to give, there is an opportunity for kids or for people that have boats. We don't always do events on the boat. But again, getting a kid out on a boat is another experience. It's different than fishing from the bank. So anybody really that has time, anybody that's involved in fishing or involved in serving kids or, has a servant's heart, we would welcome any help. And
where do you guys usually, I know we're in the Greenville area now, like do y'all go to the lakes around here? Do you go to mainly ponds? I guess, where do you guys normally go to fish?
We've done them at state parks. So we went to Table Rock, at Paris Mountain, but we're starting to do some at Oak Grove Lake, which is a Greenville County. It used to be under the DNR. Now it's Greenville Recreation. It's right over here off Roper Mountain. We generally want to have an open area. We generally want to have a shelter, so we can, if there's rain or something, and hopefully fish. That's the bonus. Catching a fish, and that's what I learned for me is that's the goal. But there's tons of times where I go and I don't catch fish, and I still get the same experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say my dad and grandpa fish a good bit. They're no pro angler by any means, but they always taught me that if you got to catch a fish to have fun, you shouldn't be fishing in the first place. It's more about what we were talking about, building the memories, having that time to cut out all of the distractions. One thing that we were talking about before we got on the show is, you see kids walking around like this, they could run into a wall. And, I think it's great to have something like this where even if they don't have, necessarily the resources to get out and fish, now you're giving it to them. So, maybe they're not going to be on the Xbox all day or, on their phone or tablet when they get off of school. They can kind of get out, learn a skill, learn a trait, and maybe even find a passion for fishing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's even with my son. He's 5 now. When we go fishing, he's not fishing the whole time. He may fish for a little bit. If he's not getting a bite, he's done. He wants to do something else. But we're outdoors. Maybe he's playing in the dirt. Maybe he's playing with a bait, whatever. But again, it's still outdoors. And again, seeing and spending time with some of these kids that face challenges, by the end of that, they could care less if they catch a fish or not. That may be the icing on their cake, but, they're just excited that somebody's there spending time with them.
And I bet it's a lot of them, it's the first time.
Yeah, it is. And it's a lot of times I want to tell them to load up in the truck and come home with me.
I bet you see some bad situations, but it's great you're able to bring some positivity to that for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing is like I said, God's blessed me and given me an opportunity through something I love to do, to love on other people, to meet needs, to serve others. And like you said, hopefully provide something, a memory, something, a passion, that you can develop for the future. And again, I'm just so blessed to be able to shepherd that outreach.
One question I had on top of that too is, I know we talked about a little bit, like volunteering in person, but, do you have some partners or is there ways people can volunteer? Like, maybe they got an old fishing rod that they'd like to give away, or maybe, they got some money that they're wanting to go to, Bass Pro Shops or something and go buy a couple $100s worth of fishing gear to let you guys have, or do you guys have that kind of fully stocked? I guess, is there some opportunity there for people to give back as well?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, like you said, I did mention time and volunteering their time, but used fishing equipment. I've actually got somebody that reached out to me. I don't even know where, but he just found out about us. He said, I've got some fishing equipment that my grandpa used or my dad used. I don't fish. Can we give it? So definitely fishing equipment, because what we do try to do is we try to give each kid a rod and reel into the keep. So they go home. So then if they have somebody, maybe they'll have an opportunity. So that's definitely, and I'm glad you asked that, because there's definitely an opportunity for people that want to donate fishing equipment or, donate to the outreach. That's what it would go to. It would go to providing rods and reels, to the kids that we serve. We actually got connected with Cabela's because they do a rod and reel trade-in every year during their special. They have to do a special week in March. You take your rod and reel, if it's used, trade it in. They give you a discount card for you to go buy something, but then they take those, have them repaired or fixed, and then they donate back out to different organizations. And we were fortunate enough to get involved with them this year as one of those organizations. So they have some rods and reels and stuff they're going to be giving to us as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and for all those folks, I'm gonna look in the camera and just say, hey, if you've got old rods and reels, this is a great cause. If it's sitting out in the garage, you're not using it, reach out. I think this would be a great reason to have it working, and I'd rather have it in the hands of a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid who maybe wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity. So that's pretty powerful, I think. And I think it leaves them with they're taking away something, right? Is they had that memory, but then they can reinforce that, and maybe at another time with you, but maybe by themselves.
Yeah.
So put those rods and reels to work instead of collecting dust.
Yeah, we absolutely, and that's one of the things. And I didn't mention that when I talked about going to the children's shelter. Is when we went to the Miracle Hill Kids Home. The first thing I told them was, I don't want you guys to think that we're here just doing our duty, to make us feel good about ourselves. We're not just going to give you fishing rods and reels. We're going to take you fishing. Because we had some people donate, and that was around Christmas time. We had a fundraiser called Fishing for Their Future, and we had a bunch of people donate money or fishing rods. So we took those rods and reels, took them to the kids, and look, we ain't just bringing you Christmas gifts and leaving. We're going to come back when the weather warms up and take you fishing. So again, that was the opportunity we have is again to provide that, and then hopefully they'll have an opportunity to use it again.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, this is a great ministry, and I think it's one of those things that a lot of us could get involved in, whether it's time or what's out in the garage, for sure. Are there any other, ways that you're reaching out to other communities we hadn't asked in the right way, or other things you want to share about the program that we might not have talked about?
No, I think we've covered it. Like I said, we're mainly focused on the youth. We've got the boys and girls homes. We're starting to do some camps, some day camps to offer in the summer to kind of increase that. Just getting the words out. If somebody likes to fish or knows somebody that likes to fish, knows somebody that could use some time away, maybe going through a tough time and just needs to get away. We can do solo trips as well. So again, that's kind of geared more toward the adults.
Right.
But again, addiction recovery, somebody that's having a challenging time, reach out. I'd love to take them fishing. I'm going to be going regardless.
Might as well come along.
Exactly. Why not take somebody and spend some time with them? And it's amazing. Like I said, the amount of time you spend 3-4 hours with somebody, you've learned a lot about them. You've had an opportunity, again, much more so than how we, again, like I mentioned, live today. Is kind of just how you doing? I'm doing well. The conversation is going to go a little bit further than that, or it's going to be completely silent, if you're fishing with somebody. So that's what's been unique that I didn't understand about it, is that opportunity, just time.
Yep. Well, that's great to hear about the impact you're making and in our community. So thank you for doing that. I know Cameron wanted to ask our signature question, so I'll let him do that.
Yeah, so we always try to ask this, and we've gotten some fantastic answers, but what makes you tick?
What makes me tick? Serving others, loving other people. You never know what somebody could be going through. I think we're all good at putting on a smile. And again, the casual conversation of, hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. When everybody has something they're going through. Everybody battles something every day. And getting a little bit deeper into that, relationships. I don't want to just say fishing because that's the easy answer. I could go fishing every day, but it's more than that. And I think it's just allowing God to use me to love on other people and meet needs if if there's an opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we definitely see the passion here. So thank you for all you're doing for the community, and look forward to promoting it and hopefully giving back. So thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity. It's been great to meet you guys.
And if folks wanted to find out more about your organization and reach out, how would they find you?
Actually, we've got our website is the Bridge Fishing Outreach .org. We've got a Facebook page. That's the Bridge Fishing Outreach. They can reach out by email, which is the bridgefishingoutreach@gmail.com. Or you're more than welcome to call my phone, and our number would be 864-918-8574 for more information, questions, to volunteer, donate, anything you need.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Bruce, for coming. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Absolutely. And for all of you out there listening and watching, go out and like us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the various social media platforms, or find us on your favorite podcast platform. Until we see you again, go out and make our community great.